Hi everybody, welcome to the cab of my completely unexpected new vehicle, huge Toyota Tundra, because I got announcements, I got things going on. I feel like the world has finally gone insane, and all the people that are fans or followers of my little branch of YouTube, along with people like Jam and Tracy Twine, man, rest in peace, baby, and all the other peoples, all the peoples we've had, all the peoples in the chat, say ho. I feel like we've all been greatly vindicated, but that it doesn't feel sweet. Maybe it's like John the Revelator when the angel lift him up from his death trance of falling down, and he says, here, man, go up there and take the little scroll and eat it, and when you eat it, it's gonna make it's gonna make the inside of your mouth be happy. It's gonna taste sweet, but when you swallow it and it goes down to your belly, it's gonna be sour. I think that's how we all feel right now. We got bullshit contrived everything. The simulation and the simulacra of Jean Baudrillard is prevalent throughout, as I posted once on Facebook, and I say now, welcome to the digital PANOPTICON. So if you don't know what any of those words mean, then skip back, slow it down, or pause and start Googling. And if you're smart, actually grab a real book and look in the dictionary and look, use DuckDuckGo, use the Brave browser, use anything but just Google, because they're censoring everything anymore, people. They're censoring everything. It sounds crazy and kooky, but you know what? It's true. You can verify it easily. I just tried to find James True's article about QAnon and Steve Bannon earlier this morning while I was sitting on my computer, and all the top results are I literally put James True, QAnon, Steve Bannon in quote marks, like the word Steve Bannon in quote marks, and none of it popped up until you get down to the 7th or the 10th or the 12th result. And then there's finally some James True articles there. But they're the things that I used to search and find and bookmark on what I would call Web 1.0, they're gone. The evidence of Peter Kawaja, Christian attorney Linda Kennedy, who was disbarred in the state of Virginia for exposing their corruption and crimes, all that shit is gone. It's just crazy, man. So if you don't know what the simulacra and simulation is, look it up. Look it up in a book. Find the book, Similacra and Simulation. And that doesn't mean I'm recommending that you trust or believe in the postmodernist French philosopher Jean Baudrillard either. Just that there is definitely some nuggets to take from his concept that true reality has been lost and completely obscured by false realities that they create through media and that they perpetuate through the machinations of your minds. You know, what does that mean? It means that they feed us all these movies and TVs and radio broadcasts and other types of broadcasts, podcasts, even this channel like you're looking at right now, and that shit overwhelms the reality. Right now I feel kind of hyped up, but if I look around outside, it's a beautiful day out here. It's bright sunshine, no chemtrails in the sky, flowers and trees and green everywhere. People over here watering the community garden. This time they're not wearing a mask, so that makes me happy. But inside of all the myriad simulations, hyperreality, that's the term to really learn if you want to understand. It's a communitarian hyperreality out here. And if you want to at least get a grasp on it, let alone get out of it somehow, you got to start really seeking the etymology and definition of words and start using the right words all the time to describe the things that you're involved in and that you see, and not knee-jerk and not get that emotional reaction pushing you to physical action. You can't really stop the emotional reaction. You know, if they put a video up of somebody being suffocated, shot to death, attacked, somebody hitting a dog with a shovel, there's a visceral emotional reaction that you cannot control. It happens naturally in your body if you see it. If you see it in real life, the reaction might be strong enough to make you vomit, to make your mouth water, to make you wet your pants, to any of these things. Okay, so you can't prevent the emotional visceral reaction, but you can practice taking control over your physical action after the emotional occurrence. And this is what I encourage you all to do. This is the reason to find quote unquote truth and to never linger and stick with one little ideology, to remain liminal. What did NIKI Rapana used to put on her website? Her finding a path outside the dialectic. You know, that's what we're doing. That's why I like Jason Horsley and NIKI Rapana. Their work is similar because they're both saying what? You're being herded, you're being polarized, you're being pushed hard. Choose one or the other. You're either alt-right or you're hard left. You're either a God-fearing Christian or you're a devil-worshipping atheist. And this is all nonsense. They're instead of just putting a ring in your nose, they're putting a box around your adrenal glands that they can trigger it with, and it's pretty hard to get out of it. You know, there's part of me that's tempted to do what James Freed did and just retreat off into the wilderness and build myself a greenhouse and make sure I can secure my perimeter and get some guns. And I don't think that's the solution, though, because if you really study James Freed, he said that after he did that and he felt like he had himself in a physical and a legal and supply status to be safe and good, that it wasn't good enough, and he needed to come back and let people know what tools they could use in the physical, emotional, and spiritual realms that are going to help them. Because we're here born, you come out of your mama's womb for a reason. And for me personally, it's not to march in the streets, and it's not to be an activist or a zealot. It's to tell people what I've been saying for a decade, which is the only way to win World War III is to not fight. The only way to win World War III is to not sign up. You know, there's a lot of white people on the internet want me to join their white cause and be a white boy for, you know, screw everybody but us white folks and say 14 words. And then you see the same thing finally emerging now on the black side. And the black people are saying we need to build our own cities and we need to make our own separate place. Well, you know, either that or we need to bail off of here and make a place somewhere else. And I don't believe any of that. I believe it's okay for all those people to do those things, and I also believe it's okay to have a liminal space between all those things. But I also believe that it's all idealized bullshit. You know, what's a hard pill to swallow? A true black pill? Your birth certificate makes you a bond slave to this system. You're owned property. You're accounted in their books as literal property. You are the collateral on their war debt, on their governmental system. You're the collateral. And if you don't believe that or you don't like it, then go find the quote that I posted from Colonel Mandel House, where he describes it in only 4 or 5 paragraphs. We are the chattel of their little apartment complex called United States, or if you're in Canada, you're the chattel up there, and it doesn't matter. All these countries are symbolic, and they're only it's just a facade. The reality is there's something like a more complicated corporation than the Pepsi or the Coca-Cola or the Apple or the Microsoft corporation. The countries are just bigger versions of the corporation. And they fund them the same way with the board of directors, and they need collateral, and so they have literally human resources. That's me and you. So how do you swallow that pill? It's hard, people. I got your back. I'm supporting you out here. But the truth is, I got huge changes going on in life. And my whole living situation and my whole family and everything's changing in a big hurry and in a good way. And I know I keep saying this, and lately I've only really had the energy about once every 2-3 weeks to pop up one of these 10-minute videos, and I know it bugs. But if you're not in our Discord over on the RX Only Picture Show Discord, hit me up in the comments for a new link. I don't like making permanent links because we're getting too many weirdos coming in, and I don't want to have to appoint too many moderators. But stuff's starting to take off. I'm starting to see organic developments. One of our posters over there, Miros, is scheduled and made a weekly just like organic chat where everybody who wants to can jump in the voice chat, and we did a little bit of that yesterday, and it felt really good. It didn't feel like a live episode of Picture Show with Jim and everybody in the chat, but it still felt good. And there was 5 or 6 of us ranting and laughing and telling stories. And there's a guy, his name's Dank Frank or something like that, I don't remember. I shared an announcement over there in the Discord, and he did something bold too. He started busting out weekly Picture Show-esque videos on his channel, and I highly recommend people go find him and subscribe and check out. There's a video of him standing there reading the Tracy Twyman book, CIA Sex Slaves, or Mind-Controlled Sex Slaves in the CIA, and he's already got guests jumping on, and it's a very Picture Show-esque thing, and I fully encourage that kind of stuff. And I do intend eventually to come back to do all the things I've mentioned, to publish information about remembering Tracy, to publish more information about what Picture Show really was and what it might still become, and even to publish stuff about Kanye, even though I know that's my own little calling from God. It's embarrassing and weird, but that's what it is. As far as all the shit happening currently, I don't really got shit to say except for that, I see it as good, but I still see it as seeded and funded and being led by people behind the scenes that most people in the world are not aware of. There's all this bullshit money getting dumped in to make this happen. It's just like the Arab Spring. People think, oh God, the Arab nations are finally rising up against their oppressors. It's like, no, they're just being told by intelligence agencies and their apparatchiks to finally think that they're rising up, when really, if they open the gate and tell us all to rush through and we listen and rush through, that's not really a movement, folks. That's not, they get ahead of all this stuff so far that they design and designate and decide when it's going to happen, and then they use it to their own ends. So you're being used as part of a magic occult ritual. You're being used as part of a political alignment ritual. You're being used in a polarization type of way if you really deeply invest in this stuff, because ideological belief is not, I can't say that it's your friend. I can't say that it's good. But at the same time, I don't completely put it down and say it's nonsense only, because for one thing, people are invested, and you got to meet people where they're at and accept that. It's okay with me if all the black people get angry and march and riot and even vandalize shit because they're pissed off and they're upset, and that's the reality of their heart and their mind, and you shouldn't just disrespect it just because you don't feel like you can, just because you're not coming from someone's same position doesn't mean you have to completely undermine it. That's what keeps us polarized. Have compassion. Once again, back to some James True info, having a terrific amount of compassion even for your enemies. I've been trying to pray and study and learn in my heart a way to really forgive and be kind towards all the alleged wicked people, the people who are abusing and trading in women and children, who are performing blood cult rituals and just doing satanic crazy shit, because it's not as prevalent as they try to say on all the scare tactic channels and the fear porn. That's not really true. That's fake. But there are people that do these things. There are people that traffic women and children and that do the most horrible snuff film bullshit that you've ever imagined. It's true. And honestly, if I'm going to be truly following the example of Jesus Christ, then I have to have love and compassion in my heart for those people. It doesn't mean that I want them around me. It doesn't mean that I want them even free or roaming around in the world, but I still have to be able to understand that position to be a true human being in the world. Because as soon as we start to think of everyone and everything as being less than us, different than us, so much that we're something special and they're something less, I say this is the beginning of failure, even to the point of the worst people in the world. You got to be able to have compassion on murderers and rapists. It doesn't mean you have to have them around you. It doesn't mean you have to even communicate with them. But for your own good, to have compassion on everyone, it triggers love in such a way that you can no longer account them as worthless, so that you can't just say that it's a good thing to put them up on the cattle car and send them down the road, Look over here to the left and there's a homeless person walking their pit bull. To me, it kind of looks like one of my relatives from back in California. So it's easy for me to have compassion on him. But maybe the man wearing his Gucci and his sunglasses looks over there and just sees someone worthless, maybe that person with the pit bull over there looks over here and sees my new truck and sees me as worthless because I'm a materialist. We got to have compassion for each other. That's the true solution and the key. We're at 15:08. I'm gonna kill this thing. I appreciate y'all. I'll keep you updated when I can. I'm gonna stop beating myself up about it. When I feel the power in my heart to make a little video, I'll make it and post it for you. Till then, like I said, if you're not in the Discord and you want more information or you want to participate in what we do have going on is the organic, what we're gonna call, Jem coined the term, over-the-counter picture show. It looks like we're getting an over-the-counter people show started. So, you know, if you don't have access, hit like, share this around, get people to subscribe so I can get up to 1,000, and I'll do this shit live sometimes, straight from my phone. I'm not at 1,000 yet, so until I get there, I can't really be live from my phone. But yeah, if you got info, drop it in the comments. If you got questions or needs for me, drop it in the comments. Love y'all. Take it easy, and we'll see you next time.